Аз два пъти си отварях очите там.
Аз почнах live.
Okay.
Wait, are we live? Not yet. Ooh. Hello, my astrology friends. Oops. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and today this is our second live with Babylonian ancient Sidereal astrology. This month, as we said, is very important, and here Sidereal astrologer Trifon Nikolov is to lead us through March 2025. There's two reasons it's important, because we have big eclipses and we have retrograde planets, and the second one is very important because it's the beginning of the true celestial astrological year. So everything that's happening this month is going to affect the next 12 months. Hello, Trifon. I'm so excited to have you on. This month, I think it's probably the most important this year. So I want to hear your point on this.
Hello, everyone. Yes, it is important, but regarding whether it's the first new month of the astrological year, this is disputable because the ancients have some different views about that. Like they state that for the beginning of the new year, you can accept the new moon that is the closest to the day of the spring equinox, but it can be also, in some tradition, it can be the new moon before or the new moon after also. So different options. And in general, the most popular tradition, so to say, is the one that is closest, and the closest new moon will be in the end of the month.
So
the end of March.
we'll cover this more in the April ones.
Yes, so whatever happens actually in April will be significant for the next 12 months in general.
Okay, so two very important months.
Yeah, so we have 2 months ahead that are very important. This one we can say is the finalizing month of the year. We can see that it's really like that. Many things are final, let's say, that are going on lately.
Endings and
Yeah, and it's a 12th month, so it's a kind of similar to the 12th house. And, the 12th house represents society, but also suffering, betrayal, troubles.
And that's when also everyone gets sick around March.
One of the reasons, definitely.
The paying karma for the past year. By the way, I wanted to say Trifon is offering a very special reader to our viewers just for the next 2 weeks for only $130, 30 minutes reading with him. It's very affordable. I know the times are tough financially, so he offered very gracefully to have a personal face-to-face reading with you for 30 minutes on one topic or any topic you want for 30 minutes. That you can contact him. I'll put the link below. This offer is valid in March for a couple of weeks. So, Trifon, tell us about March.
Yeah, so March is very interesting. 2 eclipses, 2 retrograde planets, and a bunch of other positions. So it's as always complex, but even more this time, because it's the 12th month of the astrological year, according to the tradition of the ancient Babylon, for example, and Egypt. Overall, it's logical that the year begins in the spring, because this corresponds to life cycles. So they were aware about that and aligned it also to the sidereal zodiac, which at the time was coinciding better with the seasons, at least like 2,000-3,000 years ago for some time. But anyway, so it's a kind of 12th house month. So it's a time to finish things and to be more careful, to rest more. And even in countries like Bulgaria, there is this pagan custom to have this white and red splitted together.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Threads, yeah, which is like magical thing to survive the end of the winter.
And we also do something called kukeri now, which is scaring away the bad spirits. We wear scary masks, like the opposite, like Halloween, but to scare away the winter bad spirits and to welcome the new beginning.
Yes, all those ancient traditions, they definitely accentuate on the meaning of the end of the year as like a little bit more challenging. So this is definitely there, but otherwise, let's see what the positions of the planets are showing. So let's comment on my last prediction about flying and the dangers about flying. If you remember, it was triggered by the accident that happened in the River Potomac in DC.
Mm-hmm.
And then I checked some special cycles, and I concluded that those cycles are actually activating exactly in this year to indicate more dangerous year about flying. And this, after this statement of me, it started like a couple of accidents followed. Remember, this is still true for the year. This month, however, a little more than the other months. The reason is that the modern planet of flying, which is Uranus, which at the moment of those accidents in the beginning of February was making station, but throughout March, Uranus is aligned with stars that are called the seven demons in ancient tradition. In other words, they have some destructive powers. These are the so-called Pleiades. They have many names. Seven demons, the Weeping Sisters, and also some more kind names like the chicken with the hen in some ancient traditions, because they have in part also lunar nature, which is to nurture and to take care. But the other part of their nature is Mars, and this is about anger, destruction, about accidents and conflicts. And so when Uranus is aligning with those stars in a special alignment, which is called in astrology Paranatelonta, this means that when Uranus each day is rising, he rises together on the horizon with the Pleiades. And this is like a conjunction. So this is happening this month. And it's part of the meaning that it's a month that is not so great for the air control and traffic, and greater danger of accidents is happening. And we know also that the agencies in USA that are related to the control and security are recently being weakened in different ways by the current administration. So, a warning in general for the month.
I also checked that there were twice as many statistically, actually, last year and the year before than this year. That was somewhere on the news that I read. So that was...
Uranus made this alignment last year also a couple of times. Like,
so it started
three times he made this same alignment that is happening this month.
Yes.
Last year. So, okay, have this in mind. But even in the next months, because this is one kind of alignment with them, then he will make different kinds of alignments with them in the following months, and even some of the years after. But I will give information about that in the future when it comes. So, Uranus with the Pleiades. Also, let's have in mind that Uranus is the planet of progress and freedom and alliance with malefic stars. And in general, the topic of freedom has big issues and big troubles around the world lately, and especially right now. This is also reflected in part by the Uranus situation with the Pleiades. Now, so this is just to begin, right? So let's see what else is going on.
Isn't it also aligning with Algol this month? Or is it later?
Who, Jupiter?
No, Uranus.
No, it's later. It's later, okay. Not this month.
So we'll all right. So now it's the Pleiades.
Next month, actually, I think.
Okay.
Well, we had this Uranus and Algol back in August 24, I think, or July, in the summer last year. So he will go there again, but not this month. First, the Pleiades. But his program basically is to meet some challenging stars this year. So, On the 2nd of March, 2 days ago, Venus turned retrograde. And in general, she was already stationary, she was not moving, and the meaning already is obvious. I think even that this, when I looked at the ancient meanings of the planetary situations for this month, I thought, because they are already very obvious, what I will say, right? That probably I had to make a prognosis for the prediction for this month like 2-3 months ago, when it was not so evident, so that the ancient opinions would have been now more striking. But let's see. Let's see what Venus means according to the ancients when she is retrograde in the constellation of Pisces, as it happens now. She is right in the middle of the sidereal sign Pisces, 15 degrees around. This is where she makes a station. And the ancients are writing that this means rumors, disagreement, and fear. Rumors, disagreement, and fear. Well, having in mind that this is actually a disruptive position for Venus, yes, we can say that balance is off, and this can lead to those results. And this is also obvious in the last days. In addition, Venus is very easy to understand. Venus is the planet of peace and harmony, and the perspectives of those have fallen exactly in the last days. So Venus will be actually retrograde till the middle of April, when she will have some additional bad aspects, but she will turn direct. So any hopes for improvement in this direction of, I mean, like diplomacy between countries, will be happening next month, not this month. Even as you will see later, as you will hear actually, there are even worse indications coming. So Venus is retrograde. When Venus is in difficult position, she indicates detestable things that are very unpleasant, which can make people to feel disgusted, to reject everything, because this is the other side of Venus. Like Venus is representing in general attraction, love, and harmony, but when she turns like in the opposite direction, like retrograde, she can indicate those meanings of rejection, disgustion. In general, all kinds of feelings of not liking something.
That's why people realize they don't love their partner sometimes around that time.
True. And in general, the last days, I'm sure, are full of love crises for people. And as Venus indicates, young and beautiful women, and in general, women of all kinds. So because Venus in different charts, depending on the model of the chart, day or night, etc., she can indicate wife, she can indicate grandmother, she can indicate even the mother. So Venus is related to all kinds of women. And women lately are not feeling so great in such case. Or at least they're reevaluating their situation, because retrograde planet always makes people to go and to look back to the unresolved issues. In this way, it will be about love and harmony. So now we can say it's a transitional and also transformational period about love matters. It's not, however, a time to make new decisions, new steps, new commitments, but to reflect on the problems and to try to resolve the inner issues about those topics. And of course, some old problems can return with double force and can make even decisions that are final. So those things can happen now. However, as Venus is exalted in Pisces, she is actually a power for good, in the sense that she makes everyone to realize the great importance about love and passion. Probably with the means of facing problems with those things. But after all, the final meaning will be some kind of empowerment of the principle of love and harmony and compassion for the world and for people in general. There is this other technique that when Venus is accepted to be in the first house, like in Pisces, she will be also the ruler of the 8th house. That's why the ruler of the movement of Venus retrograde in Pisces is actually kind of bringing crisis and need of transformation and even dangerous developments. And that's why the ancients are saying fear, disagreement, because this is stressful. Right? 8th house relation. We know 8th house is about trust, about support, about mutual support, right? So everything that involves deep interaction with others on political level, financial, emotional, intimate, etc. So in this way, Venus now makes us also integrate new things and achieve some evolution in those matters, but also to suffer crisis. And so this is Venus now. It's already going on.
What about the financial system? Is Venus connected to it, or is it different planet?
Of course, absolutely, it is connected. Venus with 8th house indication in Pisces. 8th house will signify things like debt. And in general, 8th house is the resources of others. But Venus is going backwards. So this will then indicate the inability to get the resources of others. Let's say it like this. So whether it's for sexuality or for loan or whatever there is, that can be a resource to be used. 8th house in general is also, that's why, and Scorpio also is corresponding to the 8th house. That's why they are also potentially connecting to the using others' resources in good or bad way. Because good ones can be like things like insurances, things like taxes that support the entire society. But there is also another view about those things, like that people overall are being used through the means of the 8th house or robbed.
It's predatory, right? It's predatory energy, yeah.
Yeah, so it's predatory. It can be predatory only if there is a predator, to use it in this way. So everything depends on principles and ethics. Here we can see how important is morality, because if there is morality, then we'll see only the good side of the 8th house, which is then the greatest experience, actually. To have support, to have trust, to have this exaltation of the going together of energies, etc. So becoming stronger, in other words. But now she's retrograde.
Well, Venus just turned retrograde, and I think they announced tariffs in the USA during retrograde Venus. Will they stick because it's retrograde, or rather not? Those tariffs.
Well, we can say
the stock market's crashing or it's going down to some extent. I'm not sure. I haven't checked news yet.
So this matter will be painful until June. June and potentially again in August, based on the Venus now being retrograde, but later becoming direct in April. However, Mars, the natural ruler of Scorpio in the 8th house of the natural zodiac, he will get debilitated next month until June. So this still makes the matter of the all those topics about the 8th house that I mentioned still very sensitive and not so strong.
Yeah.
Until June. 9th of June is when Mars becomes stronger, which can improve the situation. However, until then, not so much. And so this is Venus. Venus is doing those things. Remember, however, that she just calls for a deep look into the truth and to be ready for deep change. And whoever lies to himself or accepts the lies of others, this will be turning in very critical moment, of course.
So moral people, they're not going to see negative consequences so much.
Oh, they will see it. They will see it, but they will be more prepared, I guess, to deal with the negative results.
Okay.
Well, people who have morality and honesty, they probably are careful not to go in interactions and associations of the kind that can harm them. Right, but the rest, or the people who are like more innocent, more unknowingly going into this situation, or even we can see this is reflected definitely in the political events also, that the 8th house is playing a lot in the politics right now through the means of Venus. So there is like a big reevaluation of everything right now in the minds of people, I believe. And Pisces is more related to the social movements in a sense that Pisces is the 12th house of the zodiac, which represents society and everything that concerns in general society, including the societal systems of different kinds that are built by society, like hospitals, systems to help others, etc., etc., etc. So all this is now being reevaluated and in a crisis. This can be felt actually everywhere, especially in USA, but as a result, everywhere. So all this is reflected definitely in the situation of Venus. Not only, of course, not only, also the other positions are important. Like lately, there was like Sun, Saturn, and Mercury conjunction, which can indicate danger of lies, danger of trickery in relation to authorities, for example. Many people are right now getting their final letters of warning that they will be fired. Some of them are calling me. They're saying what to do. Should I accept to resign or not? And so on. So like, it's a critical moment, definitely. So, but this conjunction starts to fall already, little by little. However, other things are coming. So let's talk about them as well. For example, on the 14th of March, Mercury will disappear. I mean, it will disappear from naked eye visibility. It will set 14th of March. This will happen also in the sign of Pisces, the sign of society. So as you can see, everything that happens to Pisces concerns basically the entire world, especially the society as a whole, like the common people, you can say, in some ways. So, and the ancients are saying something there about it. They say that this setting of Mercury will indicate that the rulers of countries will go against each other. So there will be certain disagreement, there will be opposition among them. We already can see that, but obviously it will intensify in the middle of the month. In the middle of the month, of course, Mercury, who is the very planet of negotiations, let's talk about it. He was invisible most of January and February. He became visible 20th of February, but in a sign of Saturn, in conjunction with Saturn. He proceeded then to Pisces, where he is debilitated, not in good shape, in other words, where there is another malefic, which is the dragon, right now in Pisces, and he is about to disappear, being still debilitated and afflicted 14th of March, which in general, overall, for things like that Mercury signifies, both for people and astrological significations, like people of Mercury are intellectuals, but also traders. Mercury is significator of, in general, of humanity, because he rules human-shaped signs, like Gemini. So being debilitated, it indicates misinformation, lies, difficulties in communication. When he disappears, all those things increase. And people who have rising sign like Virgo or Gemini, so they basically will not have their best time around 14th of March. These are of course sidereal signs, Virgo and Gemini, which are considered in Western astrology 90% of the cases to be Libra or Cancer. So watch out. This makes the month not to be the best month for any negotiation or signing new contracts, for example. And so opposition, so difficulties in communication between the ruling figures of the world. And the following day, Mercury turns retrograde on the 15th of March. And the ancient texts are saying that this means that it is a time that is unfavorable for the rulers of countries. Of course, right, with this position. People will be not in so good mood, obviously, when Mercury is like that. And in general, deals, negotiations, etc. will not go in the desired direction. They will not happen at all. So this is Mercury indication. And now, as you can see, according to the ancients, Venus and Mercury turning retrograde is not something good in Pisces. And it's natural because any retrograde planet slows down her process and her principle and calls for reevaluation and transformation, which will take time. And of course, with Mercury case, obviously, always like around 20 days of retrogradation, always. So there will be such time for Mercury as well. So again, this puts any positive processes to be again after the middle of April regarding Mercury and Venus significations that I mentioned. Mercury also is the planet of trade. He is the planet, actually, basically this is the planet of money. You know the word banknotes. So it indicates documents, and documents are of any kind are ruled by Mercury. So Mercury is the planet of money, and his bad condition in disappearance, etc., is not so great for the financial markets. So we can expect some shaking situations to happen, not necessarily with great results, but we can see that this situation of Mercury indicates the possibility of deception. So beware, beware. Right now, hidden forces are acting. So, and then we have the other two major events. There are also others, of course, but the other two major events of the month are the eclipses. First comes on the same day when Mercury disappears, 14th of March, there will be a lunar eclipse in the last degrees of Leo. Last degrees of Leo. And this situation of the eclipse is happening in opposition to Saturn, which impressed me. It's very exact opposition to Saturn. Even though Saturn is invisible, this is still a malefic association. So it's challenging to interpret this, but definitely it looks like something that can go in difficult directions. However, what the ancients are thinking about an eclipse happening in those degrees of Leo, there is information about that I searched for. It is totally basically saying that there will be no peace, because what they say is that there will be under the influence of this eclipse, and I will remind you that an eclipse will last the major influence for 100 days. However, overall, in using traditional, more modern astrological, even they're not modern, this was also known by the ancients, how many minutes will be the eclipse can indicate how many years will be influential. And having this in mind, have also in mind the following statement of the ancients, which is like striking. So they're saying that there will be movement of the army, and that there will be military actions, attacks, involvement in general military campaigns of the Scythians. And now we have to think who are the Scythians. I'm not sure that I'm pronouncing it in English correctly.
I think that's the way. Scythians. This is Hungary and North and Southern Russia, and these are the Scythians.
So no, not Hungary, but well, they are Scythia. Well, the name how I know it, which is close, very close to the original name, right? How it sounds, Scythia. Maybe in English it's like Skytia or something like that. Anyway, Scythia is big territory of land that the ancients described where it is. And this is in all of the whole of modern Ukraine, also the lands to the north of Caucasus mountain, basically also South Russia, and big chunks of Poland, Lithuania, Estonia, even some part of Moldavia and eastern Romania. The small Scythia was even considered one other place, but I don't think they mean this. It is even North Bulgaria. So what they say that there will be military campaigns of the people living there, obviously. By that, obviously, they mean the ruling force, the main ruling force in those lands. And we can see who are those. Those people who are living there are already at war. And this indicates that it's definitely sounding like against any peace achievements. Because the prediction of at least of the eclipse is for the next 3 months to be exactly the opposite. And having in mind that the ancients are never talking just like this for something, because they are specifically mentioning this, then it should be something that is actually meaningful. So it's not like just like some movement of the army or some of the regular military conflicts. Like even though this is not regular, but the way that so far things are developing, it should be something stronger, if they say so. So this can be a sign for greater mobilization of military forces in those areas, definitely. Because so far, some of the forces involved are claiming that this is some normal military operation, not calling it a war even. So there is an indication that this will be intensifying. So this eclipse happens there, 14th of March, in the end of Leo. Saturn is opposing. So here the position of Saturn can be interpreted as, after all, there will be strong forces that are limiting the scale of this, because Saturn also has the power of limiting anything, good or bad. And at least we will hope for this, but also it's true that an opposition is a bad aspect and it can lead to a deterioration or more destructive indications of the meanings of the eclipse. Yeah, so funny, right? It's not, of course, funny. This is, however, what the ancients are saying, and very often they are correct. So you will have to see how much their observations are correct this time. So then there are some other things. Venus is actually, again, Venus, about to do something important again this month. Not retrogradation, but changing of the nature of her cycle. So on the 19th and 20th of March, she will do this. Basically, what I mean is that she will change her nature from evening star to a morning star. So even in one of the days, she will be seen in the evening after sunset, and also it will be seen in the morning before sunrise. And then after 20th of March, she will become only a morning star. However, she will be not becoming invisible at all in the process. So you can watch this process on the 19th and 20th of March. If you like, you can go in like half an hour before sunrise or half an hour after. Let's be very close to those moments, beginning and end of daylight, and you will be able to observe this, which is actually fascinating. It's, believe me, it's very beautiful. It's very interesting to see it. So what does this mean? What does this mean? The ancients are writing it. What they say for 19th of March and 20th of March, one of these stations, because basically two stations are happening, evening and morning one. For the evening one, which is the last one, they say the last one for a certain period of time, I mean, right? So the last one, morning station, morning visibility, actually. So they say that this will be meaning that there will be harm for the rulers. Harm for the rulers. So this definitely looks like challenge for the ruling parties. This is one thing. For the next situation when she is becoming morning star, they also say the following, and this already is very obvious, but obviously it seems it will be reaching new heights on the 19th and 20th of March. And they say that the situation of Venus will indicate the irritation of the king and the censure of the king. So let's say some king or someone who desires to be king or names himself even jokingly a king will be very, very irritated, angry, and will try to censure overall around him and overall in that time. Why is this happening? Let's think about this. Venus is representing love. The sun represents the rulers. However, in astrological nature, they're very different. Venus being a night planet and sun being a day planet. So they have some natural discrepancies between them when they're together. One of the things that happens is that the sun throws light on the principle of Venus, which is to say, illuminates the importance of love. However, in this case, when this happens, as it happens in Pisces, the sun rules a harmful house, the sixth house, looking from the position of Venus. So this can indicate further damages for people symbolized and ruled by Venus. Like there can be additional losses of famous people in art. There can be difficulties for the people in this sector, and overall for women, it's good to take care about being more effective about their job and health, most importantly. Health. But the sun always brings clarity and understanding and justice, so this will be also an important lesson for everyone, how to be more effective, how to apply the principle of love. Overall, this is also, of course, for the big processes in society, but also on personal level. However, such harsh illumination that the sun can bring can feel critical time, right? Because people may not like what they just understood. On the other side, from the point of view of the sun, Venus will rule the 8th house. So for the ruler, whoever he is, somewhere, right? But of course, we mean mostly the most powerful people on the planet. So for them, Venus indicates a crisis, because they even maybe a danger at this moment. And the importance of the 8th house matters, like using others, dealing with other people's resources. In this case, the resources of society, as Venus in the sign of society rules the 8th house from Pisces, conjuncting the Sun. Even as the Sun rules the 6th house from Pisces, and the 6th house rules enemies, we can say that enemies may try to take over the resources of society around this conjunction. This is also, there is already a ground in about thinking in this direction. In that time, whoever, because Venus, after all, is strong, it will try to balance everything. And maybe that is why they say the king, whoever, who always wishes to do what he wants, right, may feel irritated. What else about this? Like Venus until then this is also a significant, important about the general change of the mood of the world, because Venus's evening star is the goddess of love, Ishtar or Aphrodite, many names, Venus, right? So so far she's like this, but when she changes her situation, becoming morning star, she becomes the planet of war. She becomes the goddess of love, Athena Palala, right, in the ancient world designation. So I'm reminding you, she's the goddess of strategy in conflict. She's like, she uses her brain. And however, she definitely indicates that also women themselves, for example, and all the people who are related to art and any creative, I guess, activity. And this also changes the situation overall for love matters, but still people should wait until Venus becomes direct later in April. But in general, overall, people will be in the mood already to fight against some circumstances, to be more active. Women will have some blast of energy for them at that time, which is good. But remember, it happens in under critical circumstances, because the 6th and the 8th house lords are represented by the Sun and Venus in this moment. And so the goddess of wisdom also, she's considered. So this is the moment when thinking may start to take over against simple actions. Here we go. And let's see what else. Even so far, I have not touched the second eclipse, as you can see. So let's go for the second eclipse that's happening this month on the 29th of March. First, the meanings of the ancients about it. So this one, it will be almost in the middle of Leo, not Leo, but Pisces, sorry, 13 degrees Pisces, solar eclipse. So they say that this will signify the demise, the death of a very important man, one thing. So someone who has more power, is more famous. Somebody probably who arose from ordinary circumstances, I can say. So it is there. Because it is Pisces, it can be also somebody who is important for society, like having a role for supporting or working somehow with and for society. So this is one thing. And there is another, however, the second meaning is like chilling the blood, so to say. So remember, Pisces is the sign of the ocean and in general water sign. And the ancients are saying that such an eclipse will show a strong earthquake somewhere where there is a sea and ocean around. So now what comes to mind immediately is that in the Mediterranean, in Greece, the island of Santorini is shaking already 1 month, and they're expecting bigger shake, bigger earthquake. So for me, this is not to say that something can come so disastrous as the last big eruption of Santorini 36 centuries ago, which devastated Egypt and all the Mediterranean, right? I don't think that this will happen, right? But of course, no one can be sure 100%. What is meant here is basically an earthquake that can come. So this is one of the big candidates, but of course it can be also somewhere else. There are countries which are designated to be ruled under the sign of Pisces, where the eclipse is happening. And if you remember, one of my successful predictions was before time, like a year and a half ago, a year maybe. So when the dragon entered Pisces, there was similar meaning. There was similar meaning of great disaster, earthquake, and problems with water, and it hit exactly one of those countries that are ruled by Pisces. And Pisces is said to be ruling over north. This is like northwest Africa. This is to say Algeria, Libya, and Morocco. Overall, they should be more careful not to have great disaster happening again related to water or earthquakes. But the other side is potentially some other places where Pisces, of course, rules also in other places. Basically, that's why they say in a place near water, like near the ocean, near the sea, because it can be there where Pisces is always important. And so this is the meaning. So we can expect some around 28. Basically, the eclipse is 29th of March. It can happen even earlier, by the way, 2-3 days. It can be on the same day or 1-2 days later. Basically, very close to this date, I expect to have some strong earthquake. Well, people of Santorini, try not to be on the island on the 29th of March, and plus minus 2-3 days. And so this is about the eclipse. Then on the next day, 30th of March, it will be the true astrological year. New year, I mean. The new year from astrological point of view is on the 30th of March. Well, everyone can make some rituals, some celebrations, something auspicious to have more luck, because this is the real beginning of the year. The real beginning. In the ancient cities of the world, this was the beginning of a religious festival. For 12 days, they were making each day feast for the deities and different things involving their religious beliefs. So it's also it can be said that each day, just let's touch on it, each day in the next 12 days can be significant for each of the months that are following, 12 months following this moment, 30th of March. So that's why it's important. Anyway, we'll talk more about it. Right now is not the moment. So, some other remarks. Which are the good days? Basically, 5th of March, tomorrow, is the good day of the month, basically because the moon and Jupiter will be together in Taurus, and the moon is exalted and Jupiter is a positive force. So if somebody has to start something this month, this is a good time, or the best that he can have in the month. Basically, especially for things related to art or finances or like practical matters. For almost everything, he can give some good things, definitely, this position. So tomorrow, the Moon and Jupiter together. This is basically the time, because later there are other things. For example, 8th of March, which is the International Day of Women, is not looking so great because the Moon and Mars will be in conjunction in the sky. Having in mind that Venus is also retrograde, this does not speak very well of the mood and condition of women at the time, and it can lead to conflicts. People try on the 8th of March, those who celebrate the day, to be more careful with women and women to be more careful with men, right? But having in mind that this 8th of March day is important for the rights of women, the conjunction of the Moon and Mars can indicate great enhancement of the fighting spirit of women for their rights exactly there. So this 8th of March probably will be inflaming the souls of women who want to fight for their rights, which is an important thing. So for the true nature of the day, it is a perfect conjunction actually. And so this is happening there. As you can see, it's good only for aggressive actions, not for something else. Then on the 11th, 12th of March, the Sun and Saturn will make a conjunction. The ancients are saying that this means there will be no activity of the agricultural workers and in general in the farms. And this is actually not a great indication because it potentially indicates lack of resources being invested and work regarding creating food. This is one of the key moments in March for agriculture, which of course can be an indication that later in the year there will be problems with prices, food becoming not enough. We already see some of those things, but let's hope this will be not the meaning. But this is the conclusion that I can make with from what the ancients are saying. They are not saying it by accident. So, well, those who let's hope people hearing this will try to be active. Actually, let's hope. Then around the same time, Mercury and Venus make conjunction. 12th of March, together with the Sun and Saturn. This is like very in two different directions. Sun and Saturn together and Mercury and Venus, because Mercury and Venus are power for love and power for communication. This is the only good day if you wish to send a message, if you want to communicate better, if you can have ideas. Basically, the Sun and Saturn also is supporting professional opportunities for many people, actually. So we can say for activity of different kinds, this day can be a good one. But the difference is, so please be careful about that, it is better after sunset and before sunrise. So, anyway, also, let's comment on the star Shat, which is a very active star for humanity already, and is getting activated this month a couple of times. Already Mercury was with the star. We saw what this means for negotiations. However, Neptune and the Sun also will touch the star. 19th of March, the Sun will do so. This is together with the meanings of Venus changing her position. The Sun indicating the rulers with Shat, the star of tragedy and suicide, can indicate very difficult situation actually going on for the rulers, I mean, right? And so, but this star always accentuates the great need of helping others because it's projected in Pisces, which is the sign of society. And the only good things that can happen there is that if important ruling figures is conscious enough, in that time will be acting towards helping others in a big scale. This will be the good result. The bad result will be dangers for the rulers. So also, Neptune very close to this moment on the 21st of March. Neptune again will make conjunction with Shiat. Remember, he touched the star last year in the spring, I think, the first time. I commented a lot about it in some of the spring videos.
Yeah, I remember you said that when Neptune was in Shiat, the American Civil War broke out last time.
Yeah, and we can see we're getting closer and closer. So about that, this is not so much a joke. The tension is rising, definitely. But why this is happening, right? Because Neptune and Shiat and Pisces are so much related to society. And this is the 12th house of the natural zodiac, which, by the way, indicates also prisons and slavery, etc. But overall, this is the condition of people and society as a whole. And when there are social topics that are matured enough, and this star is triggered because this star has partly the nature of Mars, this leads to social conflicts. Now, Neptune going there indicates that there will be idealistic force being involved to fight for the rights of society. Neptune is very rarely there. The last time was the Civil War time. Also, I will remind you that this is the moment when idealist fighters for the rights of people are being born. I have found the charts of such people. Basically, I believe that Neptune with the star will trigger great desire to helping those who are in need, those who are suffering, the weak. So it's a powerful force for change of society, actually. But it can be also, as you know from the last time, it can mean also that it has very tragic undernotes in the events, as Neptune also indicates sacrifice. Self-sacrifice and suffering are parts of the meanings of the spiritualizing process of Neptune. In addition, maybe it can indicate dangers from water and water catastrophes like tsunamis, who knows, right? This is just a thought. However, I have not researched this, but it seems logical. And so this is there. Also, I have noticed that the Shiat star is very much related to counterintelligence in general, all the agencies related to it. So with Neptune there, maybe they will take a ground that is more humanistic, or they will be at least forced. So there can be also other implications. Finally, one last thing, 28th of March, you already know what is going on. The moon, however, also disappears until 30th of March. So 28th, 29th, and part of 30th of March, the moon is invisible. This is the moment when people should be trying to rest more, not to start new things. It's good for spiritual practice, but the best thing is just to rest more. New beginnings in that time will be short-lived and unlucky. This is basically the end of the year. And the last note is Mars on the 31st of March. Mars, this is the last thing that I will say today. So Mars is making a conjunction with one of the bright stars symbolizing one of the legendary figures of Gemini, and this is Pollux, which in the ancient legends is described as the best fighter. However, ancient texts are saying that this star can be related to violence. So she can be related to all kinds of violent things. So 31st of March is a day that is more prone to show the difficult side of things. So people, be careful at that time. better not to travel, I guess. And also be much more careful not to have some accident or violent situation. Especially maybe true, this is for people who have rising sign ruled by Mars. These are Scorpio and Aries and Sidereal, but Taurus and Sagittarius in tropical Western astrology signs. And so, as you can see, very dynamic month. Remember that Venus and Jupiter actually are related throughout this month. It's called mutual exchange of signs, as Jupiter rules Venus and Venus rules Jupiter in Taurus. Venus is in the sign of Jupiter, Pisces. This interaction shows that there is a great exchange between love and ethics and morality, which leads to achieving greater perfection, and also indicates a better month for spiritual practices and general for love and spiritual growth in inner level. That's why there are hidden forces that are very positive. Remember that anything that was said that is negative actually applies to people only if they have specific negative cycles afflicting them, right? So everything is very specific, so don't be worried too much. Even in the opposite, if you have good aspects by Jupiter in Taurus or Venus in Pisces, you can have excellent time. But this is about another topic. You can understand this if you have a reading, for example. So enjoy this finishing of the astrological year and prepare for the new energy coming.
I don't know how enjoyable it will be, but it's definitely going to be interesting.
And people enjoy the show at least. So
yes, and enjoy March the 5th, tomorrow. You can enjoy that.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you want to do something, do it.
Thank you so much, Trifon. You always give us so much knowledge. Thank you, everyone, for joining us again. If you'd like to connect to Trifon, I'm putting a link below. He's offering a short 30-minute reading for a specific question or matter you want with him for a very, very reasonable price of only $130. So this offer is valid for a couple of weeks, so you can have a different reading with him. And I'm looking forward for your interpretation of the energies of the new year towards the end of March. Thank you, Trifon.
Yes. Thank you.